Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade Prime. I got Kimberly here so we can talk about the best show on television, The Baldwins.
Okay. Now, if we didn't get letters before, we definitely got letters from that.
You did see I'm recruiting people one by one.
No, did you get people into it?
Yeah, I sent, I posted on Instagram, somebody wrote yesterday. Let me see if I can find it. They wrote yesterday and said,
I judged you guys. You were
but
dumb, but
now,
then now I get it.
but now I get it. Yeah, it was, okay, let's see if I can find it because I went into my Instagram and then I was in the middle of doing something and I forgot.
This is fun.
I don't know where to post about this show to Mary Payne and Kimberly, so I'm doing it here. Currently watching episode 3, and I'm laughing at all the side things. I hope you catch them. For example, the boys jumped into the car looking for Alex, saying his name, but he was in the back of the car. Now I'm laughing at the lunch date because Hilaria is trying to have a serious conversation. Alex is trying to fork his ice from one glass to the other, and he keeps falling on the floor. Yes, I think the show is a PR thing, and the couple is very stagey, but things they can't control is entertaining. And I've joined you in the pro column for this show.
Yes.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Carla. I
Thank you.
appreciate that.
One at a time.
Is it Carla with a K?
It is.
Yeah, I know her. She's a doll.
Yeah. Carla's leading the charge. She's joining us. Yeah.
Love it.
We love it.
I mean, you can't put a camera in front of that many children and not have it be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Assuming it's not like Annie and they're in an orphanage or something sad
Right.
like that.
Right.
Like they're well-privileged children playing. It's gonna be kind of funny.
And I feel for the parents in that it has to be so hard to give that many children attention and love. And you can tell the ones that are craving it so badly.
Yeah.
You know,
Perhaps they shouldn't have had that many children then.
well, can't do anything about it now. Okay.
No, too late.
Okay, so let's get into this episode. It's called Coming Home, which, spoiler alert, they don't stay in New Mexico that long, but you would have thought they were gone for 3 months the way Hilaria is acting. I mean,
It's like, I'll see you again after the war, children.
2.5 days from now.
Yeah.
So,
But they didn't know.
I know. So we there's a lot of black screen to death on this episode, right?
Oh yeah, right? Every
Yeah.
5 seconds.
Yeah. We open up with a black screen of death. On October 21st, 2021, by the way, that was my birthday.
Oh,
Ah.
that's sad.
It is sad. Alec Baldwin was in New Mexico filming a Western movie called Rust. When rehearsing a scene with the prop gun, an accidental shooting occurred. The state of New Mexico filed involuntary manslaughter and other charges against Alec Baldwin. A jury had already convicted a crew member for manslaughter. Now, Alec Baldwin's trial begins in the same courtroom. We did have a listener reach out to tell us that he was on trial as the actor and not the producer.
Yeah.
Which we didn't know. We had that wrong. So thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's a fact-free podcast. So we see him walking into court and we hear the news reporter coverage of Alec Baldwin enters the court. Hilaria is with him. And we see Hilaria flying there with Carmen and the baby seemingly in coach.
Oh.
Because they're 3 across, the 3 of them. And probably she wants to do that because yeah. I mean, but by the way, the
Optics.
baby's optics and the baby's so little, they 2 of them could have sat up in the front in first class,
Yeah.
but optics. Look at us just in the back of this
Well, they have a
Spirit
friend.
Airlines flight. Yeah.
Apparently, they have a friend too that we don't see. So it's not all on Carmen. Last week, they made it seem like Carmen at 10 years old was going to be the nanny, like
Yeah.
the babysitter, alone with a baby.
Yeah.
We didn't like that. But apparently, she has a friend. There's a friend also there. And that friend is 7 years old.
She is the ripe old age of 11 and a half. No, later when they're coming home, we see one of the nannies is in the car with them.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But we're not judging you for having a nanny. You've got 7 children.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what she thinks we're gonna judge, and I'm like, I would have them too, girl.
I
And
mean,
anyone out there who's saying they wouldn't,
Yeah,
I don't
it
believe you.
lies.
Yeah.
So, she says she was only planning to stay for a day, and she got there and she realized she could not leave. He really, really needed her there. Of course he does.
Mhm.
So,
The
we
man
get
is an
all
emotional wreck. I think it's
he's
look at
right.
those bags under his eyes.
Yeah. Um, so we get all the court stuff, right? Because that was all on TV, so we're able to have all that footage. We see his sister Beth, we see his brother Steven,
Who's
um,
crazy.
crazy Steven, is there with Hilaria. So, black
Isn't he
screen.
crazy?
I
Am
think
I
he's the
wrong?
one that's crazy.
I think he's the one that's crazy, yeah.
Black screen of death on day 3 of the trial. The defense is made aware of evidence that was not provided to them. The defense files a motion to dismiss the case. The judge dismisses the case. We see Alec crying when it's announced. We see him hug Hilaria, who's also crying. All of this is not acting, guys. This is very real shit. And
Oh, yeah.
I felt relief for him.
Yeah.
Black Screen of Death says, even though this case was dismissed, Alex still faces potential appeals as well as civil cases. He is prohibited from talking about the case. So that's why we get her talking about the case a lot and not him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, he faces potential appeals. I don't know who could appeal it if the case is dismissed out of court, but I don't know who could appeal it. But civil cases I can understand. So all the people on the set could sue him for emotional distress, or
The
they could sue
family.
him for
Her family.
wrongful death, could sue, yeah, all of
Yeah.
it. Mhm. So they have a new talking head together now. She has little bun buns just to show how perky and fun she is. He looks 406 years old.
He does. Also, I think we
Yes.
call those space buns. Um,
I call 'em bun buns.
I I just, I have recently wondered in the past year if I was too old to wear them, and I was advised that I'm not by
Mhm,
someone,
mhm,
maybe Katie. Um, but after watching this, Hilaria is younger than me,
mm.
but I think I am too old to wear them. But more importantly, I don't think she's too old to wear them. Just I don't feel like the space buns set the right tone for a conversation in which a woman has died and your husband just got out of get going to prison. Um, they're just not a serious, solemn hairstyle.
Agree.
And I think it was a misstep and by Miss Hilaria. And I think that the space buns should have been maybe just pulled out. I think a producer should have said, "You know what? We're talking about a woman who died.
Mhm.
Take out those little perky buns because you look like you're going to Claire's at the mall and not talking about your husband's murder
Yeah,
trial."
I agree. I think that maybe later she was going to the pool or a yoga class and needed her hair up tight, and that's
Mhm.
fine, but do it later. It's not
Do it
appropriate.
later.
It's not appropriate for this.
It's not, and, I don't mind that she always sits cross-legged, barefoot on the couch.
Yeah,
It
mhm.
doesn't bother me. I do it as well. Also not maybe appropriate for the, solemnness of the occasion.
Yeah, other people are upset about the big Jean sitting cross-legged on the couch. They're like, "We don't need to be reminded that she's tiny. We get it."
No, it's
Um,
constant. There's no muffin top when she sits in, like, a little
nope,
spandex top
nope,
tucked into jeans.
A lot of people sent me some pictures of, people that some of her pregnancies were faked,
Yeah, a lot of
yeah,
people said that.
and they sent like the Beyoncé square belly situation, like it collapses when you stand and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
They're like, "Here are pictures of her when she is actually pregnant and what she looks like, and then here's a picture of when she said she was pregnant and what that looks like."
well, but
Yeah.
your pregnancies can look all different. Um,
Well, but not no nobody has a square
I
stomach.
do.
Not
I'm
that's
not a
never.
doctor, Mary Payne, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that is a different type of pregnancy, a square
Mhm.
pregnancy.
Maybe when you're pregnant, how you say, little hijo or hija,
Embarazado.
it's different
When
for
you're
hijo,
pregnant, I think it's
hija.
something like that.
Yeah. Hijo, hija is, son or daughter or friend, or I don't know what it is. Okay.
Embarazada.
Uh-huh.
I was very close.
Close.
I know that
Yeah.
from an episode of King of the Hill. Um, it's I don't know. But I've seen enough episodes of I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant to
Uh-huh.
know that you can have a pregnancy that looks totally normal with a big bump, and then your next pregnancy, the baby grows under your rib cage, and you
Yeah.
didn't even know you were pregnant until the
Right.
baby comes out.
Right. Well, anyway, I believe my listeners and think that half of these pregnancies she used a surrogate, and that's fine too. We know she
She
the
looks
reason
better than me, and I've had 0 babies. So that's not even the point. The
no,
point
is that
is
that's not the point.
she's
The
tiny
the
and
point is maybe she doesn't tell the truth. Okay.
yeah, oh, for
So
sure. You're right.
the producer asked him, "Hey, how you feeling physically and mentally? Because you look like shit."
Yeah, you look
And
dead.
or
You look like a ghoul.
he says, "Well, I'm still worried, obviously." He says, "I'm a faith-based person. I'm Catholic. I've prayed and prayed and prayed till I've passed out. I've prayed. So it's hard for me to talk about how I'm feeling, you know?" He says, "But I'm grateful to Hilaria. I'm grateful to my friends and my family who stood by me. I'm grateful to God, but it's going to take a long time to heal. It's a long road." One day after the trial, one kid is in the driveway waiting. They're running around looking for mom and dad. They are asking Sylvia, her friend, who is there, a godmother of somebody, um, who's there, and when are mom and dad getting home? When are mom and dad getting home? And my sister and the other baby, and also the other nanny. Where are they? So and they arrive, they drive up, and there is a nanny in the car. The kids are running up and they're looking for dad. Where's Dada? Where's Dada? They run up and they hug her and like, where's Dada? Now it's interesting because at one point they call him Papa, and at this moment they call him Dada. So, all right.
I know because, Carmen said later, she goes, "I was worried the children wouldn't have their papa." And I was like, "Oh my god,
I know. It's a
Carmen does it too."
yeah. By the way, I went and just looked up all the kids' names because I was thinking maybe they had like these Spanish sounding first names, but they all have Irish Catholic middle names. No, their names are all like Carmen, Penelope, Hilaria. They all have like 3 names, like Eduardo,
Mhm,
Rafael,
Fernando, yeah,
Romeo,
uh-huh,
Fernando. Yeah,
yeah.
all of them. So, the
Poor
talking head,
Alec, he does not get a say in anything.
none of his family names are
Mm-mm.
anywhere in there. But of course, maybe she's like, the last name is Baldwin, so that's what you get.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless
I
you.
should have muted. I'm
You
so
should have.
sorry.
It's okay.
So sorry, everybody.
um,
It happened so fast.
I know it just came upon you
How
because
you
you were so
say sneeze?
how you how you see it comes out the nose and it's the thing. Um, so the talking head Alex says, it seems like such a privilege to be able to raise these kids. And he says, and the privilege and the gift is to be able to come home to them. And they're happy, and we've just got to be able to live one day at a time now. One of the little boys is crying so hard that they got home. I don't know which
Sobbing.
sobbing. I don't know which one he is, but he needs extra attention.
Yeah.
He needs extra attention. He's
He's going
sensitive.
through yeah, he's going yeah,
He needs extra attention. You need to take him for a one-on-one date. Maybe he needs some
yeah.
therapy.
Mhm.
So in the talking head together, they're sitting and she goes with her bun buns and she goes, "This is not a win. This is an awful thing that happened to people. We are coming back to something totally new and can make choices. But we have to remember how to live again." Which, even though she has a terrible accent, she is making good points.
Yeah. Well, she's done a lot of therapy, and it's very clear because she
Yeah.
speaks in therapy speak, which
Yeah.
sometimes annoys the crap out of me, to be honest. But,
Mhm.
um, you can tell she's done a lot of therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. And the talking head, she says, the hardest thing here is that a woman lost her life, a son lost his mother. Helena didn't get to go home to her family. And that is what makes everything so painful. Like, where do you go from a tragedy? I don't know. I guess everyone has to find their own way. And pain is not something any of us want to live with. So, little by little, we have to move into a place where we can heal. So, talking it together again, he says, "This has taken such a negative impact on everything, including our parenting, and everything we do cost us something that we don't have enough of, patience." Well, nobody's gonna have patience with that many kids,
That
guys.
many children?
You're
Oh,
gonna run out by 8 a.m.
I wouldn't have that patience with one child.
Mm-mm. So, especially that little jerk that curses, that
I
Lulu.
know.
Wow,
The little monster. They'll
that
call her the
little
little monster.
she's over there flipping people off and calling people a
Yeah.
bitch. Um,
Thank God she's cute.
is she cute? I can't remember what she looks like. There's so
I
many.
don't know. She's like bald, one of those bald babies. It's kinda
No,
cute.
no, this one's got hair. She's got
Oh,
hair.
okay. She's
The
the one
the
that's they're like the one was from a surrogate and one
yeah.
was they're, like, very similar in age, the babies.
Nope, you've got it wrong. Lulu
Keep track.
you're right, though. Lulu is 4, and she has hair, and there is also Eduardo Edu. He is also 4.
Oh, they're the okay, I for some reason thought there were 2 babies. I thought they call the monster the baby.
Ilaria, the monster, she's 2, but I'm saying
Okay.
Lulu is kind of
Is
the
the
littlest
one that
one
is the one that flips the
and
one
says
that was
bitch.
flipping people off. Uh-huh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Lulu is the one who was in her high chair was doing the middle finger,
Yeah,
and then
you're
in the
right, 'cause the
car
baby can't talk.
said, "Give me the phone, bitch." Um, I gotta love it. I got to love it. Okay, all right, let me get back to that crazy baby. All right. So Hilaria and Alec are gonna drive the kids that are going to camp to their day camp. There are lots of beautiful shots of the house. There's beautiful shots of the Hamptons. It makes me just wanna go there.
Mhm.
I don't think I can afford it. 1 week after the trial, she's in the kitchen, she's cooking. She calls for Carmen, her assistant, to help her.
Yeah.
And she says she really needs to try and get the kids grounded back in life, Carmen especially. Um, Carmen tells her she had a dream and that in the dream they moved, and she's like, "Oh." She says, "Well, how did you feel about our fun trip to New Mexico? How did you feel about
Yeah,
that?"
we sightseed we sightsaw,
"Oh, it was so
sight
fun. We
we
saw the
went sightseeing.
courthouse." Yeah.
The courthouse was beautiful.
"How did you feel about our trip?" And she goes, "Mom, shh, the boys will hear you." And Hilaria goes, "Okay, they're not around." And she says, "How did you feel?" And she says, "Well, yeah, I was worried. I was worried dad was going to the jails. I was worried dad was going to jail and the boys would not see their papa again.
She really does go, "Papa."
I was worried dad was
I
going to jail, but the boys wouldn't see their papa again. Why you just called him dad? Why are you not calling a papa?" Um, and Hilaria says, "I know that you handle things differently, and I don't know if I made the right decision to take you." And Hilaria says, "We talked and we talked and we talked, and I hoped I made the right decision, but now I'm hoping for a more predictable life." And then the talking head, Hilaria says, some kids, they need different things. They need more than others. Like Carmen, we took her to the trial. Um, and Alex says, "Well, the thing about Carmen is if she wasn't with us, she would go crazy. She would just make things up in her mind. She has to see things herself. She's very intellectually curious. They have put so much on this 10-year-old.
Yeah,
Um, and
but they
Hilar
did say, like, after the shooting happened, she was sleeping in their room and, like,
yeah,
couldn't be alone because she was having panic attacks and stuff, so
yeah,
maybe they're
yeah,
right, I don't know.
and
It did
Hilaria
seem way too heavy for a 10-year-old, but I
yeah,
guess if
this
she
10-year-old
would
is like
be
a
spiraling if she
yeah,
wasn't there.
yeah. So Hilaria says, "Yeah, she's very intellectually curious, but Rafa and Lou, they're in such a routine that it would have been more disruptive for them because these two they need distractions." So Rafa through Lou. I'm so sorry. Rafa through Lou. This is how we're naming the so Rafa through Lou is Rafael, Leonardo, Romeo, Edu, and Lulu. So that's Carmen and Ilaria, the baby. The 11 and the 2 don't need routine, but the
Mm,
9 through the 4 and 4 do need routine.
mhm.
Okay, so that's how she labels the kids, Rafa through Lou. Rafa through Lou.
Okay.
We take out Carmen, we take out the baby.
Mhm.
God, I can't wait to see how this goes 20 years down the road
I know.
with these kids. I really hope we follow them and really okay. Um, okay, those kids need distraction. So all the kids are now in the kitchen getting chocolate. She's giving them each a little bowl. Hilaria is still cooking. Alec comes in to get some cake. She's like, "You're going to burn your mouth." And he goes, I don't care. It's cake. Um, and so
It's
I
the only
guess
time he looks happy. Let him
I,
have as much cake as he wants.
I think Lulu has different, she must have allergies because they're like, they're
Yeah.
going to make this cake and this one's for Lulu because of her
Mhm.
allergies. So when talking to Ed, he starts to talk about his children. He goes, I think kids, they stuff down their feelings. And she goes, no, you're wrong. They're so in touch with their feelings. And he goes, can I talk? Or are you just going to talk over me? And she goes, no, no, no. So he goes, okay, so I guess I'm done. She goes, this whole thing has been crazy with parenting. There's no manual for this. We're holding on to so much. And now we have to release it. And each kid will do the same thing on their own age and their own level, except for Carmen, who's required to be 20.
Exactly.
And he goes, well, I don't know. What do we do now? We don't know what to do. We don't know what to do. And Talking Head Hilaria says, in order to talk in a serious way, the two of us, we have to get out of the house. Alec is a New Yorker. He loves to eat out. He loves that there's no mess. He loves a restaurant. I was like, I don't think that's being a New Yorker. I think everybody likes to eat out. At least I
No.
do.
But
I do.
also, I'm sure he does appreciate someone else cleans up, and then he doesn't have to see the mess
Mess,
because
right?
his OCD.
Yeah. So they order food. They're at a restaurant. He's so excited. He's like, hello, I'm here. I'm Alec Baldwin. We're going to the back. Hello. Hello, people of the
I think he does
Hamptons.
like feeling like he's at, like, Sardi's or, like,
Yes. Yes.
Art's Deli or something, like, he feels very, like, a
Yeah.
little show busy, you
Yeah.
know?
And I think in the Hamptons, if you really, I think you see a lot of famous people every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's just nice to have a meal without babies crawling all over you,
Totally.
eating your food, picking at you.
Yeah. So they order, mom, 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 mom.
Yeah.
So they order food. They cheers to having a lunch date. They're in Montauk. They have this moment with the butterfly. They're, oh, it's so amazing. Oh,
She
Um,
orders a summer salad.
and then he orders like a fried egg sandwich. She's like, you should get avocado because I want to have a bite. Because I don't want to be seen on camera eating that disgusting food, but I
No,
would like to eat yours.
I know.
So she says, we need to check in. We have to put, she explains, like, because we have to like worry about ourselves now. You put your oxygen mask on yourself first. And he goes, wow, that's a good analogy.
I
So
heard
she,
that. I was like, that is the most common basic bitch analogy. We've all heard it a
a
million
million
times.
times. He thought she made that up.
Yeah, he thinks she's
Mm,
brilliant.
mhm.
Is that an idiom in your language?
How you say oxygen?
Is that from España? Is that
Yeah.
something they say?
And she says she's been going to weekly therapy sessions and, thinks they should go to family therapy. Yes, take Carmen.
Mhm,
Um, take that one that was crying.
mhm.
Um, and she says, we all have things that we do to cope, right? I need my daily routine. I need my weekly daily exercise routine for my ADHD. And he goes, it's your neuroses. And she ignores that.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, no, but for me, like the routine of it and the exercise is good for my brain. And I can concentrate more when I've done this. And she says,
Okay, just brag that you exercise every
we
day.
get
We
it.
get it,
Yeah,
Hilaria.
yoga.
You're
We
in
get
really
it.
good shape. You have to exercise to keep
Um,
sane.
but basically she's like, you could use a gym membership too, fatty. Um, so she says the next step is for me to address all the things, not to hide it. Like I can't just say, oh, it's about exercise for me, but like for you, it's about the clean house. You have to address why you're doing it. And he goes, yeah. He said, I've been white knuckling it on this thing for so long. It'd be nice not to do it anymore, you know? Because he'll still have OCD, obviously, but maybe some of the behaviors he could mediate with some, therapeutic action.
Mhm.
So the talking head, she goes, Alec is a man that was born in the 50s. And his generation is just more shut down. And to be a man, to be strong, to ask for help was never modeled for him. It's weakness. And I hope that he can realize like it's okay to ask for help.
Mhm.
So she says to him, I've really been working hard on my mental health and understanding why I function in certain ways and wondering how I can deal with stress. And for you, it's your OCD and your organizing. Like you do those things to quiet your mind. He goes, okay, like what? She goes, like organizing the goggles at night. And he goes, oh, it's going to be a negative thing. Okay, I see where we're going now. Yeah. And she goes, well, organization and I'm trying to clean is good unless your behaviors are stressing out the people around you, which I think is a really good way to explain it.
Mhm.
Right. It is good. It is good to exercise. It is good to organize unless your behavior is negatively affecting other people.
Yeah,
Right.
and your own, like, sleep and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And she goes, because like you have to look at it this way. So she is using a lot of therapy talk. She says, what would happen if the goggles were left on the grass overnight? And he says, nothing would happen. She goes, right. So like, why do you, this is probably like, they're probably laying in bed going to sleep. And he's probably like, oh crap,
I have
I
to go
forgot to
check.
get the
Yeah,
goggles. And he probably goes downstairs and searches for them in the grass to make sure they're all in the bin. Like that, we're
yeah,
not talking about like when the kids are done swimming, throw your goggles in the bin. It's more of
yeah,
he can't do anything until the goggles are in the bin.
yeah,
And then you've got 7 kids, 2 nannies, 8 pets. That's a lot to keep up with in your mind, you
yeah.
know? Um, so he's probably thrilled when he gets to go work. Um,
Mhm.
so she goes, "So do you agree with me that we could do like this weekly therapy?" And he goes, "No, yeah." He said, "I agree with you. I'll talk to somebody." He said, "I want insight into how to get the waters calm. The kids, like I say, we've been on a boat, we've been on choppy waters, heading toward an iceberg, but then we did this. We went to the side." And she goes, "No, no, 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 no. Your iceberg analogy is wrong. So you say we're going choppy water, we go to the iceberg and curve. But I say we go towards the iceberg, and then it sinks into the ocean and we go over it."
What's the difference?
And because she has to correct him always.
Yeah.
And he laughs. He goes, "I'm glad you're not writing my next movie because that makes no sense. You are not helping on the next movie, right?"
Also, I know you want calm. You shouldn't have had 7 children. It's
I know,
never
but
gonna be calm in that house.
but what can you do about that? Nothing. They're there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the same as what will happen
Boarding
if the
school,
goggles
like Shekinah.
boarding school. Yeah. So he says to her, "I want you to be."
Carmen would thrive at boarding school.
She would rule the fucking school,
Uh-huh, and she wouldn't have to
but
babysit all these
maybe
young
she would
children.
then take over and then people
She
would
would
hate her.
take over the whole
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
Yeah.
He says, "Look, I want you to be happy and comfortable, and I think I just wanna, like, go back to school and learn something." She goes, "Oh, that's amazing. What are you going to learn?" And he says, "I think I wanna learn Spanish." She goes, "No, no, 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 not convenient for me, because then I can talk about you behind your back." By the way, just if she talks that much Spanish at home, he's likely probably picked up on some words. Um,
I still am not over that she gave him this symbolic necklace last
mm,
week, and
mhm,
it was engraved with something in Spanish that he needed her to translate.
mhm.
What's the point of that? Giving someone a gift that they can't read? I don't
Don't ever
understand.
give me anything engraved in
In
Farsi or
another
Dutch.
language
I
that
can't
I need
understand it.
you to translate. Like,
Yeah.
that's a self-serving gift for yourself.
Well, okay. So in the talking
You
head,
don't agree?
yeah, I agree. I'm saying that seems to hear him out. In the talking head, she says,
Oh, I
I'm not,
see. Yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
She says, "I'm nervous to take him to therapy. We've tried it in the past." I bet they've tried a lot. We've tried it in the past. He's been through a lot throughout his life, and he thinks it's better to push it all down. And I think he can live more free if he learns to open up. I think that would help with his not only his mental health, but his physical health. I think would also improve
Mhm,
with all of this kind of load going off his mind.
mhm. I
So,
bet she's tried to make him do yoga. He walks
oh, for
like an
sure.
old man. He, like it's v it's very it, like, hurts me to see him walk. I'm like, "He's not that old, is he?" Yeah, I guess how old is he?
66.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That's not that old,
that's
Kimberly.
not
That's
that old. I
10
think
years older than me.
he could for sure still be,
Yeah.
not walking like he's walking with an invisible
Yeah.
walker, you
I,
know?
I I think he really, I'm very surprised she doesn't have him on the shots.
Yeah,
I'm very surprised.
yeah,
And maybe he is now, but when we saw him at the SNL thing, he still had those bags. And I'm like, "A girl, it's
yeah,
over. You can do it. You can get those back." And maybe he was waiting for the whole entire show to air and then he's gonna do it.
right.
And then he's gonna come back with season 2 with his glow up. Okay.
I hope so.
So we are the only 2 people that are hoping for a season 2.
I know. I just
So
meant I'm hoping for his glow up, but
yeah.
I'll still watch it if there's season 2. As
All
long
right.
as I agreed to this to watch the pilot of this. You were like, "We're gonna watch the first episode," and then suddenly we're covering the whole show.
That's right. Get on board. By the way, I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna write this
She
down.
doesn't even ask, folks.
I need to.
She
So I'm
assigns.
going to pay Kimberly because you're getting extra money. Pay Kimberly.
You typed it.
I'm writing it down because I forgot to pay Ingrid and Caitlin.
I am so
Here's
grateful to be asked to be on this show. I'm always thinking you're gonna replace me with someone else funnier, so I am constantly imposter syndrome, and why am I
and
one of the co-hosts? I don't
you're
know why.
you're insane in your memory. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we see him in the pool with the kids. And he's like, it's crazy that this pool is so big. When I built the pool, I lived here alone. Yeah. Can you imagine he's just like a single guy and bought that house?
I know, that's crazy. It's
Look up
almost
what
like he manifested the family, like, if you build it, they will
they will
come.
come. Please look up while I am talking. Please look up how much that house cost. But let's guess first. I'm going to say 32 million.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I have
32 million.
no idea how
I'm going to
much houses
say
in the Hamptons go for.
a lot. And that place has a horse farm attached.
It does, those are their horses, yeah.
Uh-huh. 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 I wonder if it has an ocean view. I don't know. But apparently they have taught everybody, including the 1-year-old, how to swim because they just got 1-year-olds jumping in the pool. There's no pool safety. There's no fence around that pool. It
Yeah,
makes me
that's
very
true.
nervous.
That's
Um,
really good point, because in certain places, you, like, have to have a
you have
gate
to.
around your pool and stuff.
Mhm.
Well, I think they sold it. Um,
There can't be any way they would have sold that house. They need to live in that house and not live in New York.
they put it for sale in January,
Ooh.
and, they cut $10 million off the price tag.
Uh-huh.
It was on sale for 29 million.
I was so close.
So now it's down to 19 million.
But why are they selling it?
I don't know. Well,
Why are they
because
selling
at the end of the episode, they sort of are, like, trying to decide what they're doing in their next step. So I don't
Oh.
know. The 5-bedroom home boasts an eat-in kitchen, a movie theater. We haven't gotten to see the movie theater, a wine tasting room,
Mm.
a wood-paneled library, plus there's covered porches, 2 balconies that overlook the surrounding nature reserve, outside a
So,
custom.
you know what? It's only 5 bedrooms. That's how many they
That's
have in New York. They need
They
more
need more
bedrooms.
space.
They
Yeah.
need a bigger house.
Yeah.
God, I would keep that house and add on to it.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what?
just add on to it.
Make that wine tasting room into 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, you've had that house for decades. You should just build onto it, I
I
think.
wonder how much he paid for it. That would be interesting to know.
Yeah,
Mm. Somebody let us know if
yeah.
Kimberly doesn't find it. Okay.
It is
Alright.
the oh, the builder can the buyer can build an entirely separate 10,000 square foot home, noting that the existing home could be expanded. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So they can build a 10,000 square foot guest house.
Yeah,
Really.
seriously. For Carmen.
For
Carmen doesn't let
Carmen.
her have a break from all those children.
Um, all right, both dogs are in here with me now. I'm so happy. Okay. So, we see him in the pool with the kids. He's glad the pool is big. When he built the pool, he was there alone. He shows the kids all the bugs in the pool filter. He goes, "This is something fun we do." He's having fun with the kids looking at the pool filters and literally like, "Where is the pool guy? The pool filter should not be that dirty."
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
In the talking head, he says, "Look, OCD has just always been a part of my life." And she goes, "Well, you would be so much happier without it." And he goes, "It's
Okay, he
my"
can't, like, get rid of it, though.
right. I mean, you're right. And he goes, "It's my illness. It's my illness." And she goes, "Well, I don't like when you say that because it's like you're giving yourself excuses." And he's joking around. He does that a lot. He jokes, and she doesn't like it.
She talks about her ADHD.
Well, she
Why
wasn't.
can she have an illness and he can't have an illness?
She's not getting rid of the ADHD. He's not getting rid of OCD. And she says, "I just wanna support you. I wanna call you out when you're making bullshit excuses." Like, he's probably like, "It's my illness," and, like, "I don't need to go to therapy." And she's like, "You do need to go to therapy."
Yeah.
Now they're in the car. She's telling him that she went out for her run. She saw a dead crow, and when she came back, it was moving. So she scooped it up and took it to the vet. And he goes, "Oh my god, it's just like that goose you found one time that had the broken wing, and you took it to the vet. And guess what? We had to pay the vet fee to put it down." And she goes, "Yeah." So that she's sitting on the couch, and the production goes, "Tell us about the crow." She goes, "Oh, it died." I slurped on purpose, guys.
I
She
know.
goes, she goes, "It died. Who cares?"
She did try to save it.
She did.
Poor
Okay.
Crow.
Now, this is where my notes ended because I had to watch Love is Blind last night. So now you're going to pick up on the notes and tell us what happened.
Oh my God, there's so much pressure. So they're going to the therapist and he's like, please don't forget the keys. And she's like, these keys, the ones I was going to leave in the car, and then sticks her tongue out at him. Very sassy for the cameras.
Mhm, mhm.
And then a UPS driver drives by and goes, how are you? And he's like, hi, I'm Alec Baldwin.
I'm Alec Baldwin, star of 30 Rock. Did
Yeah.
you see Hunt for Red October? Yeah.
Yeah. So they go to meet with Dr. Sultan, and he is dapperly dressed with little ringlet curls that are very gelled,
Oh,
like
I
literally
can't
like
offer
ringlets
anything. I did
down
not
his
even get to
forehead.
watch this. I'm going to literally go on your description.
Oh,
I
you
haven't
didn't
even
even get to watch it?
No, I didn't even get to watch it. I had to
Oh
turn
my
it off
God,
to
now
watch
that's even more pressure.
The Love is Blind reunion came on.
So she's nervous that Alex, see, I'm already
Alec?
off to a great start.
Yeah.
She's nervous that Alec won't open up. And so he kind of starts to talk, and then he says we should shut off our phones because what if we get interrupted? He said, if someone interrupts me now, I forget what I was saying as a result of what happened to me. Like I literally can never remember what happened. It's gone forever. So I don't
Mm.
want to get interrupted. And she's like, okay, great. Let's turn off our phones. And then she said, she wants him to break and get messy because he tends to bottle everything up until it explodes, and it doesn't explode in a way that's thoughtful or on the path of healing. And
No,
I was
we've
like,
seen it.
I don't like on the path of healing or thoughtful. I'm just like
No, he
therapy speak.
explodes by punching a paparazzi in the face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he says he's been adjusted to living in pain since this happened and just like white knuckling it and coping. And then we went on trial and no one knew what was going to happen. And he's like kind of just going on and on about nothing really. And the doctor's like, uh huh. And then the doctor tries to say something. He's like, please let me finish or I'll forget what I was going to say. And I think he's trying to say like I was a dealing with what happened by not really dealing with it, but I was in a constant state of just getting by. And I
Mhm.
thought, well, maybe this will go on forever like this. And then it ended because we didn't know it was going to end that fast. And then it just ended. And now I'm still just white knuckling it. I think that's what he's trying to say. And then he says, since this happened, I did have like a neurological shift, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he has uh
PTSD.
PTSD. And he says, I can't focus on anything. I used to have a photographic memory. They could hand me a 2-page monologue on 30 Rock and I would just perform it. And now I literally cannot remember anything. And it's very scary. My brain is just shot. And he says, also, I think, and then he says in therapy, he says, I think the stress and pressure of public life is not good for my mental health. At this
Mm.
age, it's not good for me. And he says, you just do the best you can. You think about what's best for your kids, and then you decide what to do, and then you take action. And we aren't taking any action. We're just talking about it. And
I
he
just say,
says,
you wonder what that means because we've got the little one that I think now I've decided was either Leonardo that's 8 or Romeo that's 6 that was crying so bad.
mm-hmm,
Probably they're like, this kid obviously needs some therapy or some 101 something, and they're probably like talking about it and then they don't do anything about it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's probably the same, like, we should probably sell this big house and get a different one. We should get a different apartment.
yeah,
We should probably not have 4 cats since you're allergic.
yeah.
But then they never
And you
do
hate them. Yeah.
anything about it.
I
Yeah.
think because she keeps saying we need to talk and process. And it seems to me like they talk a lot. Like they're constantly like having these very serious, dark talks. But maybe that's for the show and they don't normally, but, like, remember last week in the kitchen where he was talking about how dark his depression was and not getting out of bed and things like that. Like, it seems like they do a lot of serious talking, but she
Yeah.
wants more talking, and he is tired of talking and wants to take action, and the
Yeah.
action he wants to take is to try taking the kids and the family outside of New York.
Mm.
And she does not agree. She said, when I first started dating you, you had just done some interview and something had happened and you were like, I'm done with New York. I'm done with the city. And she said, and I remember the front page of the magazine or whatever was like, goodbye, New York. And she's like, so ever since I've known you, you've wanted to run away when something bad happened and you just retreat. Whenever we would get into a fight, you retreat. And I used to freak out, like, but now I understand that's his coping mechanism. And she said, maybe we do something, maybe we do move, and maybe we do get different jobs or do something, but we won't know what the right actions are to take until we do the work, meaning like talking more and doing therapy and stuff. And
Yeah.
she's like, you always just want to quit and move. You're always just like, I'm done, and
Mm,
then move. And then she
mm.
said, but I know my husband, he is an actor and he thrives in that community. When I see him with his 30 Rock friends, when I see him with his SNL friends, that's his community. That's where he thrives. And so she's like, there's
But I have a
actually,
question. Day to
yeah,
day, he's not walking down the street like, "There's Tina Fey. Hey, look, there's
right,
Tracy Morgan.
right.
Look,
I
there's
didn't
Seth
think
Meyers." He's not day to day hanging out with these people.
no, but I
Yeah.
think she sees him at these events and he's like on and very,
Yeah.
happy, but you can't live like that all the time.
Why
And
can't they
also,
literally
yeah,
move to somewhere in
when
New
you're in New York,
Jersey, you
yeah,
know?
when you're in New York, you're still just in your apartment with your kids.
Right, they could move to New Jersey, have, like, a big house, like, the kids go to, like, public school or a less
Mhm.
expensive private school, and then he can go back and forth. I mean,
Yeah.
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 There's
So
solutions here, guys.
there are solutions. So she says the action we need to take, because he's like, we need to take action. She goes, the action we need to take is in here and in here. And she puts her hand on his heart and on his head.
Mm,
And he like kind of snaps a little and he's like, well, that's your opinion. That's not a fact. That's just your opinion. And he's like very defensive. And she's
mm.
like, that's right. It's just my opinion. There's no facts here. It's just opinions. And
Is the
and
therapist just going back and forth
the
watching? Yeah.
therapist can, like, feel the tension rising, and he's,
Mhm.
like, doesn't wanna interrupt because Alec already told him, "Don't interrupt me because 'cause I'll lose my train of thought," and so
Yeah.
he's, like, kinda lucid, he's like, mm," and she said, "What's that great AA quote you love?" And I don't know if he's in AA or he just likes AA, but I think he might be in AA,
Yeah.
and he says, "What's that great AA quote you love? Wherever you go, your problems are there," and he goes, "You show up." And she's like, "You show up, that's right," which I don't think that's the quote. I think it's, "Wherever you go, there you are," or something like that, which means the same thing. I think wherever you go, your problems follow you, and, like, you still have to deal with your problems.
Um, Alec Baldwin reflects on 40-year sobriety after taking cocaine like coffee in his youth. So he is 66-year-old actor had previously discussed his challenge with alcoholism and substance abuse in his memoir. Nevertheless, it was linked to a lot of pain. In a new interview, he says, I don't discuss it a lot, but I'm 39 years sober. I got sober in 1985.
Wow.
Um, wow. And he said, I had a white hot problem every day for 2 years. I snorted a line of Coke from here to Saturn. Um, he said he did one of the rings on Saturday and came home, and then we took it back up. And he said back then cocaine was like coffee. So he said he was banned from drinking alcohol and owning a gun and is set to face trial. But he says, I don't miss drugs at all, but I do miss drinking. I like to drink. So I think he means he's sober from cocaine, but maybe he does still drink. And he was banned from drinking alcohol when he was on trial. Interesting. He says, but
When
because
he
I
was
stopped,
on the Rust trial?
yeah, but then he says regarding this 39-year sobriety, he says quitting drugs led to a dependency on alcohol. He said, because I stopped doing drugs, my drinking increased, which they tell you is going to happen. And it did happen. I just started drinking. I don't miss drugs at all, but I do miss drinking.
So it
So even though he was banned having from drinking and all that when he was being charged or whatever, it didn't matter because he doesn't drink anyway. Hi, 40 years sober. Dang.
yeah.
Good for
So,
him.
he's like, "Yes, I know that quote. I know what you're saying. I loved that quote for 39 years." That's when he says 39 years.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like, "I hear you. I acknowledge what you're saying." He says, "But I get it. But I do not want to go back to the life I had. I just don't. I'm done. I don't care." And it's very tense, and then we end the episode. And then so they're just in conflict, and next week they're still at the therapy appointment, and the doctor is like, "You're shutting down, you're retreating." And he goes, "Yeah, and I'm not going to apologize for it." And like it's very tense in the therapy session. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'm excited.
yeah.
I think we're getting somewhere with Alec. I think the therapy is going to help him. I think it's interesting that they sold the Hamptons house. This makes me wonder, are they buying a bigger house and they're going to live in the Hamptons, which is what
Yeah.
I think they should do. I don't really think I think they should have just maybe they're just like we just don't need all this property whatever. We literally need like a house and a pool and we need 8 bedrooms so each kid can have their own actual space to be individuals.
Mhm.
And maybe we'll throw in a guest room for Ireland. I don't know. Um, wow. Well, you guys, I'm
Well,
sorry.
one of
I
the
think the
things
show is great.
I think it's fascinating. And next week, I think the therapist is like, I mean, you both have a lot of people depending on you. And
Mhm.
I think that I don't know if the financial issues are a stressor too, but downsizing maybe could be better. And you're right, they could get way more for their money somewhere else.
Yeah,
Right.
they could get a huge house like in New Jersey or something,
Mhm.
and the kids could all go to school there. And if she's like wants them to go to private school for privacy or whatever, they could definitely get more for their money.
Mhm.
And I mean, they could be in Connecticut. They could do anything, and he could commute into the city if he needs to do events or whatever, and he could keep a tiny 2-bedroom apartment in the city.
I'm surprised she doesn't want them to move to España, where the rest of her family is.
She needs to go to her homeland.
Her homeland is calling to her.
I feel like they have a place in Spain.
They
I feel
probably
like
do.
I feel like they've sort of I feel like on one of the episodes they said something about the place in Spain.
I bet they do.
Yeah. I, God, I'd like to know what
Oh, and then
happened.
next week, there's
Yeah.
paparazzi, and so there's he goes, "I'm just done. I don't wanna work. I don't wanna do anything. I just wanna be with my family." And so he's playing outside with the kids, and he's picking up the baby, and the baby's like, "Dada," and he's like, "I'm Dada." And then she goes, "Oh, there's
Pa
paparazzi." And there's paparazzi, like, by their fence, and he's like, in the
at their
past
house.
I think so, and he goes, "In the past, I've had a problem with paparazzi." And we see him, like, threatening a paparazzi guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So, we don't know if he's gonna go punch that person through the fence or if he's gonna
right,
go like, "Papa will keep you safe."
right. Yeah.
Mhm. How you say safe?
How you say
Papa.
paparazzi? It's already an
Ooh.
Italian word, I think, so I don't know how you say it.
Every time somebody says paparazzi, I just sing that Lady Gaga song.
I know.
Paparazzi. Look at that dog. Look at her.
I know. Hi,
Look at you,
baby.
sweetie people. Um, I don't know where Ginger went. She's nervous because the handyman here is making noise all over the house, so she has
Oh,
gone to hide.
poor girl.
Still waiting on that Prozac to kick in. They said it'd be a few months. But now we have to give her an appetite stimulant in the morning because the when you first start the dog Prozac, it makes them not wanna eat. So she'll go like 3 days and just only have, like, treats on a walk, and that's it.
Oh,
No
wow.
food.
Oh my gosh.
She looks at it. If there's, like, an apple or something delicious on top, she'll eat that bite, and then she just keeps it pushing. She's like, "Nope."
She's on the shots.
She's not on the shot. So this morning, I gave her had to stick that appetite stimulant down her throat. It's like a squirt, and they were like they were like, "It tastes terrible. It tastes terrible." So right when you do it so right when I do it, she's like she panics.
God.
It's awful. And then I give her a little treat, and then she's like, "Mm," and she goes right over to her bowl. She's looking for food right immediately.
Wow. Well, maybe
I
she just
know.
wants to rinse something out, that bad taste, get
I
something
know.
good in there.
I know this morning I was like, "Oh, I'm looking for something like some bacon or something I could give her, like, as a treat for having to withstand that
Yeah.
whatever it tastes like, I have no idea. I'm not gonna find out." But my god, the doctor's like, "It tastes terrible." I go, "It's kind of like makes no sense if you're trying to give an appetite
Yeah.
stimulant to give them something that tastes terrible."
Yeah.
She's like, "It is counterintuitive." She's like, "But you just squirt it down the throat real quick." Yeah.
But they could make it, like, bacon flavored or something,
I
like
know.
doggy toothpaste, they make, like, bacon flavored.
I know. I know.
Make any sense,
Yeah.
scientists? Come on.
Yeah. Poor Ginger. She's really going through it. Um, but anyway, Violet left because she heard Anna come in. So that's it, guys. I'm loving this show. I did find out it's 8 episodes. So we're
Mm,
on because I was thinking it was gonna be like 4, but
yeah,
it's 8, and I'm so excited.
I know. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you, Kimberly, for enjoying this with me and not hate watching it with me.
No, I'm actually enjoying it.
I'm so glad.
I do
I will
feel
talk.
bad for him, though. I feel bad for the kids. I feel bad for a lot of people in this.
I do too. I want
It's,
him
like, sometimes
to.
oppressively sad, but then it'll be, like, goofy and kids are being weird and dumb.
Yeah, and I think also she's like, "That's great. You just want to spend time with us and be home, but we'd also like for you to leave the house sometimes."
Yeah.
Like,
Also, we like the money and we like a break from you.
yeah, and could you work on a movie or something?
Yeah.
Not where there's any guns involved, obviously, something lighthearted, a
Yeah.
rom-com perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you be the dad in a, like, Meet the Fockers Part 6 or something,
Mhm.
anything. I just came up with an idea for Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, that
Okay,
would be great.
everybody, please watch this show and let us know what you think. This is coming out today, Monday, and then tomorrow, Kimberly and I'll be back. We're talking about 90 Day Fiance OG, and this week we met a lady called Martini Pam. Is that her name?
Pat, Martini
Martini
Pat,
Pat.
and Cupcake Pat. There's 2 Pats.
Oh, I didn't see the other
I
Pat.
missed the first Pat until I watched Pillow Talk, and they pointed
Oh,
out the first Pat. That's why they're each Pat a different Pat, because there are 2 Pats in the neighborhood.
which Pat is better? I like martinis and I like cupcakes. It would be tough to choose. They're both
Yeah.
bad for you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ask Alec Baldwin. Okay, that's it. Thanks, Kimberly, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you.